The demon claimed the throne. The human took the seat. The Galactic Council chambers had never witnessed such chaos. Ambassador Zexathar, a being of crystalline beauty from the Andorian collective, watched in horrified fascination as the massive, red-skinned creature, a genuine demon from the ninth circle of Infernus, strode through the hall's ornate corridors. Its hooves clicked against the polished obsidian floor with the rhythm of a funeral march. "I am Malphas the Destroyer." The demon's voice boomed through the chamber, shaking the very foundations of the space station. "I have conquered 17 star systems, enslaved 43 species, and turned entire worlds into burning wastelands. By right of conquest, I claim the throne of supreme galactic authority." The assembled delegates, representatives from hundreds of worlds spanning the known galaxy, cowered in their seats. Some had already begun transmitting surrender codes to their home worlds. The Zephyrian trade princes were calculating how much tribute they could afford. The militant Krix Empire, known for their warrior culture, had already begun discussing terms of vassalage, all except for one figure in the back row. Dr. Sarah Chen, Earth's sole representative to the Galactic Council, remained seated with her arms crossed, wearing an expression that could only be described as profoundly unimpressed. She was a small woman by human standards, barely 5 feet tall, with graying hair pulled back in a practical ponytail. Her simple blue jumpsuit bore the insignia of the Terran Research Institute. Malphas's burning red eyes swept across the chamber until they found her. "You dare remain seated in my presence, insignificant creature?" Dr. Chen stood slowly, her joints creaking audibly in the silence. "Oh, I'm sorry. Were we supposed to be impressed by your little speech? Because honestly, it sounded like every other megalomaniac's resume I've heard." A collective gasp echoed through the chamber. Ambassador Zexthar's crystalline form began to dim with fear. Even the Krix warrior delegates, beings who considered cowardice a genetic impossibility, began to back away. The demon's massive form began to glow with infernal heat. "I have destroyed worlds, mortal!" "And I've saved them," Dr. Chen replied matter-of-factly, adjusting her reading glasses. 17 plague worlds, to be exact, turned barren rocks back into garden worlds, stopped 3 different galaxy-ending scenarios, including that mess with the von Neumann machines last cycle. "But who's counting?" Malphas laughed, a sound like mountains colliding. "You speak of healing and creation as if they matter in the face of true power. I have armies of the damned." "I have tenure," Dr. Chen said dryly. "Do you know how hard it is to get fired from a university position? I've outlasted 3 department heads, 2 deans, and a university president who tried to cut funding for xenobiology research. Your armies don't scare me, honey." The demon's confidence wavered slightly. This wasn't going according to plan. Dr. Chen continued, pulling out a tablet and scrolling through it with practiced ease. "Let's see. Malphas the Destroyer, born in the 9th Circle, approximately 4,000 galactic standard years ago. Dropped out of Infernal Academy after 2 semesters. First conquest was, oh, this is embarrassing, a mining colony with a population of 12. And that took you 3 months? How do you— Public records, Dr. Chen interrupted. Amazing what you can find when you actually do research instead of just screaming about how scary you are. Also, your conquests? Most of them were already abandoned worlds or systems in civil war. You're basically a cosmic vulture with a marketing degree. Malphas roared and summoned a flaming sword that could have carved through a battleship. "I will end you for your insolence," Dr. Chen sighed and pressed a button on her tablet. Computer, activate Protocol 7. The chamber's lighting shifted to a soft blue, and a gentle humming filled the air. Malthus stumbled, his flaming sword flickering. Iron filings in the air filtration system, Dr. Chen explained to the bewildered audience. Demons are surprisingly allergic to iron. It's in their mythology from dozens of worlds, so I figured it was worth testing. Turns out, sometimes the old legends get things right. The mighty demon was now sneezing uncontrollably, his imposing presence rapidly diminishing as he struggled to maintain his balance. Now, Dr. Chen said, walking slowly toward the ornate throne at the center of the chamber. About this claiming the throne business. According to Galactic Charter Section 42C, subsection 7, any claim to supreme authority must be validated by a majority vote of the Council or by defeating the current authority in single combat. She settled into the throne with a satisfied grunt. Since there is no current supreme authority, and since you failed to actually defeat me, sneezing doesn't count as combat, I'm afraid your claim is invalid. Malthus, still sneezing, managed to wheeze out, "You cannot simply take the throne." "Actually, I can." Dr. Chen pulled out a thick manual from seemingly nowhere. Galactic Charter, Amendment 847. In the absence of a valid claim to supreme authority, any council member may assume temporary leadership to maintain order. I hereby invoke that amendment. Ambassador Zexthar's crystalline form began to brighten again. But humans have only been council members for 50 standard years. You're barely more than newcomers. Dr. Chen nodded agreeably. That's true. We're also the only species that's never tried to conquer the galaxy, wage a war of extinction, or claim divine authority over other sentient beings. We're kind of boring that way. We prefer exploring, learning, and making friends. She gestured to the still sneezing demon. Also, we're really good at problem solving. It's our thing. The council chambers fell silent except for Malthus's continued sneezing fits. Finally, the Crick's war chief spoke up. All in favor of Dr. Chen's assumption of temporary authority? The vote was unanimous. 2 hours later, Malthus found himself in the station's medical bay, being treated for his iron allergy by Dr. Chen herself. She had provided him with an inhaler and a cup of tea. "No hard feelings," she said, checking his vital signs. "Politics aside, that's a nasty allergic reaction. Have you considered switching to a less conquest-heavy career? The galaxy's always looking for good historians." Malthus, looking considerably smaller and less intimidating without his flaming aura, stared at her in confusion. You're helping me? After I threatened to destroy you?" Dr. Chen shrugged. "You're sick and needed help. That's what we do." She handed him a business card. "Give it some thought. The universe is big enough for everyone to find their place without having to take someone else's." As news of the day's events spread across the galaxy, a new phrase entered the common tongue of dozens of species. To human a problem, meaning to solve it through a combination of research, pragmatism, and completely unexpected kindness. The demon had claimed the throne through fear and violence. The human had taken the seat by simply being herself, competent, prepared, and fundamentally decent. In a galaxy full of conquerors and tyrants, it turned out that the most powerful force of all was someone who genuinely wanted to help. And so began the most peaceful and productive era in galactic history, led by a small woman who treated governing the galaxy as just another research project that needed careful attention and the occasional cup of tea.